still in the state of Florida are still Black Americans, even though you do have a high non-Black immigrant population in the state of Florida. Most of the people living in Florida that are Black, including myself, are actually Black Americans descended of chattel slavery. So we have a huge population of non-Black people in this state, non-Black Americans in this state. But there is still Florida is still a predominantly, when we look at the blacks in the state, it's probably still predominantly Black American. A whole bunch of Black people was in this state for a long time, for a long time, guys. So just putting that in there. So we're gonna talk about this tonight. I know everybody wants to talk about where this brother's from and this and that, but this brother is I'd be willing to bet. I can't say 100% certainty, but I'm pretty sure if this brother was born in 1944 and he was born in Florida, if you look at the actual immigrant population in the state of Florida at that time, in terms of Black people, it was mostly Black Americans. So I'm pretty sure that William B. Allen is an actual Black American here. And he just co-signed and he authored and he put his pen to some absolute BS, some absolute nonsense that he just went ahead and co-signed off on. So shout out to everybody coming up in the space. Shout out to the people that's in YouTube. If you're in YouTube, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure you leave a comment. Make sure you click the notification bell to stay concurrent with the notifications that we're sending out as well too, because YouTube is not going to always give you those notifications. So shout out to everybody coming up in the space as well too, man. So yeah, we had to touch up on this. This has just been this every day people are still talking about this topic here, and we mentioned this in the space before. It was part of the actual space. I think it was part of that initial space we had about the immigration situation, the actual Black immigrants in Boston won reparations. This was a small part of it, and people really didn't touch up on it because they were all into the actual situation about the split that a lot of the activists wanted for the Black immigrants in Boston. But I felt the need that we need to come back and actually touch up on this. And it kind of falls in line with the actual review we had the other night talking about they cloned Tyrone. This falls right in line with this right here, with this guy right here, William B. Allen. He falls right in line with that actual movie as well too. It's always a Black dude behind the scenes that goes along with this stuff and pumps it out there. Now he knows damn well everybody's pissed off with this situation that he's got established right here. And my man here, he's doubling down on it. He's sitting up here, talking about what's accurate and what's correct. So yeah, we're gonna go in and we're gonna get in on that. Just trying to let a few more of our folks come up in here before we get started. DJ, what's going on tonight, man? How's the audio? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound a little low. I'm not sure. Can you hear me good, bro? What's going on, everybody? Who's taught man?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
For sure.
You say I sound a little bit low?
Yeah, you sound better now. Maybe you just sitting down wrong.
Okay. Yeah. Like I say, shout out to my people coming in on YouTube as well, guys. Coming in on YouTube, make sure you go ahead and like. What's that?
No, I said Professor coming on up.
Oh yeah, Professor coming up. Make sure, guys, on YouTube, you go ahead and like, share, subscribe, comment, thumbs up, click the notification bell as well too. What's up, Professor? What's going on with you tonight?
Shit, what's good there, brothers? Hey man, just another beautiful day. The Lord let us be here another day to be in the company of each other and to see everybody talk about a great topic tonight, man. I can't wait to hear what everybody has to say about this curriculum situation because it's been all in the news. And I know I have a lot to say about it, so I can't wait to hear what everybody else has to say about it.
The curriculum, just one part of it, Professor, though. The actual title itself, like I say, my man here, a Black man that came up with this, co-authored it. Co-authored it. Yeah. That's the thing right there. Like this dude comes up and he like the old times you say, he brings his Black ass up here and he sits up here and he pins this nonsense, this garbage right here. And he done put it in the damn with him between DeSantis and the Department of Education here in the state of Florida. They have just screwed people over with this nonsense right here, man. What's up, Queen B? I see you coming up in here as well, too. Alyssa, what's up with you as well? Easy Beats, everybody coming up in here. FBA, what's up with you guys? Yeah, man, this is just Black in Power. What's up with you, man? What's up? What's up? FBA Jones. But yeah, man, we definitely got to touch up on this because, like I say, this is from a black man. You can always find a Negro. You can always at least find one Negro to go along with something like that. He could just set up and like, nah, I can't sign this. I'm not gonna write this. But he went right along willingly to went ahead and just sign this and put this nonsense into effect right here. So let me go ahead, man, and go ahead and get it in. Everybody in the space, do me a favor, do me a big favor. Go ahead and please retweet out the space, guys. Please retweet out the space. I see my girl Rerod just came up in here, so shout out to that sister as well. Shout out to Miss Rerod tonight. But yeah, y'all, let me go ahead and touch up on this. Like I said, you can always find one Negro. I was told this as a youngster. You can always find one Negro someplace he has no business having his black ass at, or you can at least find one Negro doing something he knows damn well he shouldn't be involved in. And this is a Negro here for the night. William B. Allen. William B. Allen. He went ahead, and I see my man Ray up in here too. Shout out to you, Ray. So let me go ahead and get this thing started. The article is from Black Enterprise. It's curated on the Newstoter.com platform. It's up in the Jumbotron. The actual article for those on YouTube is also in the description if you guys want to go ahead and check it out. For those in the space, go ahead and retweet that article out as well, guys. Please retweet that article out. It's on the right-hand side. It's the very first article in the Jumbotron. Go ahead and retweet the article out. I want you guys to retweet that article out. Let's see if we can get some more people up in the space. A retweet is free, guys. A retweet is free. Please go ahead and retweet that article out. It's titled, William B. Allen, author of Florida's controversial slavery curriculum responds to criticism. Florida lawmakers and conservative Florida advisor Dr. William B. Allen have drawn the ire of Vice President Kamala Harris following the latest legislation targeting how slavery is taught in classrooms. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and the state's legislators have been under fire the past few years as they have implemented some of the country's most restrictive laws regarding LGBTQ rights, women rights, and school curriculum. Now its latest attack, slavery in schools. Florida 2023 State Academic Standards for Social Studies outlines new changes regarding how slavery, the Holocaust, and other historical events will be taught. While the expansive list features many documented truths, including the Underground Railroad and the horrific working conditions of enslaved, tucked into the packet is a benchmark clarification about how slaves develop skills which could be applied for their personal benefit, aimed towards 6th through 8th graders. This new standard will now be included in the Social Studies African American curriculum in schools across the state. Vice President Harris denounced this decision in a speech at the Delta Sigma Sororities Inc. National Convention in Indiana on July 20th. They assault us in an attempt to gaslight us, and we will not stand for it. We who share collective experience and knowing we must honor history and our duty in context of legacy, there is so much at stake. In this moment, she said, she also took to Twitter to express her anger. In place of facts, extremists in Florida want to erase our full history and censor our truths. We will not stand for it. I'm on my way back to Jacksonville to fight back. Despite the backlash, DeSantis and the authors of the 216-page book have defended themselves. Governor DeSantis, who has been busy on the campaign trail ahead of the 2024 presidential election, pushed back against Harris' criticism on Twitter, using her statements to condemn the LGBTQ plus community again. Democrats like Kamala Harris have to lie about Florida's educational standards to cover for their agenda of indoctrinating students and pushing their sexual topics onto children. Florida stands in their way, and we will continue to expose their agenda and their lies. First off, the slavery thing don't have a damn thing to do with the LGBTQ. This is about history. This is about U.S. history. In particular, this is about Black history as well, too. So trying to push the LGBT thing into it, that's another discussion for another time. Florida advisor and co-author of the pamphlet, Dr. William B. Allen, who is a Black man, defended himself in a sit-down with Local 10 News. We need to tell the people's story the way they told their stories, not to fit our expectations, said the conservative. He continued, the stories of the people who live through history, they have a right to tell their story in their own words, and what we have provided for is a telling of those stories as they told it. That is a damn lie. Those people did not tell no stories like that. Allen is a former chairman of the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights and is currently a member of Florida's African American History Standards Work Group, which, according to the Florida Times Union, is a group that approved the standards for the curriculum. I find it funny that he's saying that he's telling the story of how the actual slaves basically told their story. It'd be interesting to see. I doubt seriously that the slaves said that was living in that time period say, this has been beneficial for us. Look at all the great skills and trades we learned from being employed, working 12, 13-hour days, working 6 days a week, having a damn overseer cracking us on the back with a whip day in, day out. The entire thing that they talking about, what's the term they talk about? They talk about a hostile environment and a hostile workplace, having to work under the conditions that they had to. I doubt seriously that the slaves were sitting up here saying that this stuff was beneficial. But according to Dr. William B. Allen, the slaves thought this was beneficial. He's telling it, he's doing a favor because he's actually telling the story of what the slaves actually said in their own words. He's telling the stories that doesn't fit our expectations, but the way the people that actually lived it through history, that they have a right to tell the stories in their own words. Now, I would love to see what document that he has showing that these actual slaves set up here and they just took the words that he claims that they're using and they actually said that. I would love to see some kind of diary or some kind of writing where they actually took the actual they actually took the perspective of actual slaves back in the 1800s and actually told us exactly the kind of lives they was living, so they could go ahead and put this into a booklet and teach kids. 6th to 8th graders are going to be taught this garbage here in the state of Florida. Kids 6th to 8th graders, middle schoolers are going to be taught this. They're going to be taught about the benefits of actual slavery and how slavery taught Black people skills. And once again, a Black person, like I told everybody coming up in the space before, Dr. William B. Allen was born in 1944 here in the state of Florida. Dr. William B. Allen, more than likely, and I could be wrong, more than likely, Dr. William B. Allen is a Black American. I know everybody wants to know what his lineage and this and that or whatever, but more than likely in 1944, if he was born in the state of Florida, more than likely he comes from Black American parents. So this is a Black American man right here, sitting up here with his garbage and his nonsense, sitting up here with Ron DeSantis, putting this stuff into effect, putting this in actual history books to go ahead and teach young Black kids that, hey, this is just pure nonsense right here that they're pushing off right here. Between Ron DeSantis, this whole little committee that came up with this whole idea, the Department of Education, they're really sticking it to Black people here in the state of Florida. The Department of Education went ahead, and of course, Ron DeSantis went ahead and he fired and got rid of a good amount of people that was on Department of Education. Then he stuck his flunkies up in there, and this has got to be one of the flunkies right here. I don't know how long he's been up there, but if he's sitting up here and he co-authored this nonsense, then he's one of the flunkies as well, too. Professor, what's going on? I see my girl Goddess up in here. I see Carlos up in here. Shout out to everybody coming up in the space, guys. Definitely make sure y'all go ahead and retweet this space out for me as well, too. Professor, go ahead. I know you want to get into it and say something as well, too. And because, hey, Florida's setting the guidelines, Professor. You ain't far. You in Alabama, so and we know how y'all roll in Alabama. So this might be coming to a state near you soon.
I know, man. Usually these two states follow each other, guys. I'm just going to tell you, they follow each other because we're talking about two Republican governors. We got this old ass ag, Governor Ivy here. She damn nearly like she the Walking Dead. I mean, just tell it like it is. But then you got, of course, DeSantis down there continuing to do the racist redneck stuff that he's doing. So Alabama, of course, is a redneck state just like Florida is. And they're going to follow suit with whatever Florida does. And then, of course, there's Texas. These Republican governors in these three states. And hell, let's add Mississippi into it, too. They all follow each other.
Let's add Georgia into it as well.
Yeah, add Georgia into it. Yeah. You got to add, total, we might as well add
Louisiana, South Carolina, all of them.
Arkansas. Yeah, you got to add all the Southeastern, I'm going to call them the Southeastern Conference states. Now, I'm throwing a little bit of football joke up in there, but it's true. These are the Southeastern Conference states. And as they always say, football is king here, right? Well, we also know racism is king here. So let's just throw that into the mix too, right? Um, so this guy that they have right here, that's supposed to be a brother like us, Dr. William B. Allen, very intelligent, has been involved in many studies, much research. He knows history. And if you know the history, which he does, why would you condone or sign off on something like this? So what it sounds like to me, Toto, for your state, I think DeSantis has paid this man off. He's paid this brother off, and this man, of course, gotten a certain amount of money, and he decided to sign off on this new curriculum to add into the bullshit that Florida is doing to basically erase Black American history or to falsify it or tell it a different way. Either way, it's not being told the way that it should be told. Our history should be told by us and by us only, not by DeSantis. Not because what DeSantis says go. It should be by what we say, because it belongs to us. It belongs to our ancestors. And Dr. William Allen, you have sold your people out. And because of this, you shall go to hell. There you go. You will go to hell along with the rest of these coons that's selling us out. And along with DeSantis and the rest of these no-good races. And by the way, just to add on to these no-good ass races that keep doing what they're doing, see, I'm telling y'all, the ancestors are starting to bring out the fire. They're starting to come to these folks and let them know we're going to get you. Have y'all seen the video of what happened to Mitch McConnell when he was up there?
Oh, yeah.
This is what we're talking about.
Professor, not just Mitch McConnell, Dianne Feinstein, too.
Oh, yeah, her too. Yeah, good Lord.
Hey, guys, sorry, I didn't mean to just jump in. How you guys doing today?
Hey, look, you fine, cause look, you know this is how we do it. This is how the family does it. Cause we talk amongst each other all the time about how we feel and we let it out. Okay? That's what we love about a total space, cause we know that he will let us come up in here, get it in, you know, and we do have to be respectful about it. Now, you know, we do a little cussing up in here, but we're gonna get it out. You know what I'm saying? But that's the thing, y'all. The ancestors are telling these people, we are going to make you understand that you can't keep doing this, and we're going to come for you. We're coming for you. And Mitch McConnell was standing up there. And this is what's going to happen to people like DeSantis, because you do know, y'all, what happened to him. He was in a car crash. See, he's being warned that he needs to turn it around. The good Lord is telling these people that you can't keep running over people and thinking that you are the ones that control all of this. I control all of this. These people think that they are in control, but they are not in control. They want to believe that they are, and they want to continue to try to hold power over Black Americans. But the good Lord is coming to them, and what he's doing is he's releasing our ancestors to them to let them know, hey, your days are numbered. Okay? DeSantis was in that car crash, y'all, and do you think he learned anything from it? No, he hasn't. He hasn't learned anything from it. Do you think Mitch McConnell is going to learn anything from what happened to him? Probably not. Dianne Feinstein, you think she's going to learn anything? Probably not. Because they stone cold hearted racist people. But that's okay. They're going to fall. They are all going to fall. I'm going to land right there because I want to hear the rest of the family get it in. Thank you so much, Newstoter. And, hey, man, this is a good topic right here, man. I love it.
No doubt, Professor. And the craziest thing I seen Queen B and brother, shout out to you sisters coming up in the space on the speaker spots. You guys want to speak, definitely get your hands in because we want to hear from you. But this is the crazy part about it, and this is why Black people, man, DJ, when you get a chance, go ahead and put the link for the actual the newsletter up in the jumbotron as well too. We can retweet that out as well too. But this is a crazy thing. This is why black people have a hard time with the Republican Party, because we already know that the Democrats are full of crap. We understand this. But when you have some, and you have some brilliant, you have some really educated, some really brilliant brothers and sisters that's in the Republican Party, and then they champion mess like this here. They champion nonsense. Now this brother's 78 years of age. He's almost 80 years old. He was born in Florida at a time where they were picking kids out of school in some of these really rural counties, and they were working half of the day out there. They would get school credit, and the other half of the day they would go out there and they would work in the fields and stuff like that, picking produce and everything else. Come on, man, stop it. Stop. You were born in Jim Crow in the state of Florida, in the deep South, old Dixie. You know this is nonsense. You yourself grew up where you couldn't go to certain places. You couldn't drink from water fountains. You couldn't do this. You couldn't do that. And you're sitting up here and you're talking about what the actual, you're talking about you took something, y'all took something from the actual slaves themselves or whatever. This is their word. Basically, this is their words. This is their stories. This is how they lived and this and that or whatever. You may have taken some snippets and showed us some horrible things that they went through, but people weren't happy to be slaves. People weren't happy to be oppressed. And you're sitting up here talking about actual some skills and stuff they learned or whatever, and it's getting to the point that it's a great insult, because you're sitting up here and you're making it seem like everybody was just dumb as hell, and had it not been for slavery, we just would have had a bunch of unskilled labor, people that couldn't be trained in anything, that actually benefited from actually being enslaved. We heard this time and time again from so many supremacists up in this country, white supremacists. Now you got black folks sitting up here, and he's actually going along with this. This is dangerous here, man. This is beyond dangerous. And like I say, this is not a 50-year-old man sitting up here saying this. This is somebody that was actually born in the deep South, in the furthest, in the lower 48. It gets no further south than the state of Florida. This is somebody that was born in the damn deep South, that's almost 80 years of age, sitting up here, who has all kind of credentials and degrees and everything else behind his name. And he sits up here with Ron DeSantis and he champions this. He knows Ron DeSantis is anti-black. He knows Ron DeSantis went ahead and purged the Department of Education. He's probably one of these people that have benefited also being put up there, and he goes along with this nonsense. He sits up here and he goes along with it at the detriment of young black kids that's got to learn this dumb history that their parents are going to have to unlearn them. You already have to unlearn your kids certain things in school anyways. Now you got a 6th, 7th grader coming home telling you, oh yeah, mom, I heard that the slaves actually, it wasn't that bad, because they learned a couple of trades and skills and stuff that helped them and stuff like that during slavery time. So I guess it couldn't have been that bad, because they were actually trained and they actually they actually had a skill that actually worked for them. Just nonsense here, just complete nonsense. Let me go ahead and get to Rella and Queen B. I see you sisters got your hands up, so I definitely look forward to hearing what you got to say. What's going on, Rella, tonight?
Hey, Newstoter. Hey, everybody.
What's up, Rella?
We got so many conversations going on, but me and the kids is like talking about this entire, they're listening and stuff. And I don't want to say, like, at the end of the day, Ron DeSantis is a danger to the United States. And at the end of the day, and the reason why I say that, and this is why I caution people who are first generation Americans, because they will run on the premises of ignoring the plight of the descendants, while he goes over to Israel and signs a proclamation to represent Israel in Florida when it comes to protection against anti-Semitism. And it's really scary to know that he's sitting in a news conference giving ultimatums to Black Americans, while he himself literally only acknowledges the comfortability and the plight of white Americans that he deems, need to be protected. And I think that is a problem. I don't think he's truly for America per se. I think he is for the good old boy network. I do believe that he is the type of person, he's going to try to get in where he fits in, and he's going to try to get the most money out of where he needs to get the most money, while placating and erasing Black Americans in our truth and our history. I don't like the fact that Dr. Allen decided that he's going to use his certifications and his skills as a philosopher and a political scientist to bye, you guys. Bye, I love you. I'm sorry, guys. Hold on 1 second. I gotta pause for a second.
That's fine. Go ahead, Rella. Uh, while Rella pauses, go ahead, Queen B. We'll go ahead and let you get it in.
Yeah, good evening, Newstoter, DJ, and Professor.
Hey, good evening. Or good night. Yeah.
Yeah, how you doing, Queen?
I'm doing all right. So listen, yeah, this whole thing is just ridiculous. But look, this is not about our kids. This is about their kids. Because the things that they are saying is that they don't want their kids to feel bad about being white. So this ain't about our kids, because we can always go and, like Rella said, unlearn or come back and tell them the truth. What they are doing with their kids is suppressing information and, again, putting up this false narrative or this alternative reality about slavery. So it's their kids that this is all being done for. And this is being done because I believe this future generation of kids is a little bit more conscious. They're a little bit more, they know that the world is turning more diverse. They know all these things. And this is about them preserving their whiteness because they feel threatened right now. And they want to get to this next generation, and try to stop everything that's going on right now. So this is not about our kids. So don't think that. And then I have to ask you, Newstoter, because you live there in Florida, if you're familiar with this Keisha King woman, because she popped up on Fox News probably about a year ago talking about complaining about the schools in Jacksonville, because she said that her kids were coming home feeling like they were oppressed, and she looked into it and found out that they were teaching CRT. And I think she's a blackface as a part of this Moms for Liberty movement, and she's got a podcast. But listen to this tweet that she put up here yesterday. My great-great-grandfather was born a slave, bought his freedom from skills he learned, taught himself to read. My family lives on the land he purchased today. I guarantee there are many Black Americans whose ancestors used their skills to their personal benefit and their progeny's benefit. Anyone who thinks self-agency and using what you got to better your life means you condone slavery is short-sighted at best. So anyway, she is one of the people that's going around with the Moms for Liberty group, getting speaking engagements and hanging out with all these white folks, talking about these Black kids are learning CRT and we got to stop it because, they're feeling, at least she said for her kids, they were coming home saying, Mom, I'm oppressed, or, I was told that I'm oppressed, that all that bullshit. And I had wondered, I was wondering about what her lineage was up until this tweet just came out. Now she's saying that she, that she's part of lineage. But yeah, people like her and this guy, Allen, I think somebody said maybe he sold out or whatever, but I don't know. There's a generation of people that are up there in that age bracket that, that came out of, Jim Crow and segregation, and they were just happy to be able to mingle with white folk. And after that, they just forgot about the struggle. They just think because things were okay for them, everything is okay. And so they ignore these type of things. They ignored how, things have continued to go downhill for us. They ignored how immigration was weaponized against us. They've ignored all those things, how these other groups have come over here and are pretty much taking our place. So someone like him can sit back and say, if he's looking at it his lens, his perspective, well, yeah, we've come further than where we come, and so therefore he may think that there's some progress. But I'm not making excuses for the brother, but I've heard older people like him talk like that. So, where they just happy that they're not living in segregation anymore. So after that, the fight was over for them. But yeah, this Keisha King woman, I don't know if you know who she is, Newstoter or whatever, but she's, to me, the dangerous one, because I heard she was one of the loudest voices pushing this stuff. And there was a Black conservative woman that's a teacher down there, and she had agreed that the curriculum was wrong. And then, like, the next day, she came back and said, I had to recant what I said. There's nothing wrong with this curriculum. And then it was found out that this woman, Keisha King, had gotten to her. So I don't know if there's any, I don't want to say payouts, but maybe some kickbacks and promises to promote people in these positions if they agree that everything's okay, with this curriculum. But it's just crazy. And I'll land from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Queen Ben. I think I did hear about Keisha a while ago, but I'm gonna be honest, there are quite a few of them here in Florida as well, too, that are pretty vocal and say stupid stuff just like that as well, too. I believe Byron Donalds, the Republican here in Florida, I believe he actually, which was surprising, I believe Byron Donalds says something. I didn't get a chance to read the entire article because I put it out earlier, but I didn't get a chance to read it. But I believe Byron Donalds may have actually been in opposition to what he said remove it. Yeah, and which is kind of surprising with Byron Donalds as well too. But even him, and I have to give him credit because he definitely toes the line as well too. But even he had to say, this is nonsense. And then to sit up here and say, well, my family, people had skills and this and that or whatever, and we were able to buy our slavery. Well, what does that mean? What does that mean for the other millions of people that were enslaved or whatever? So what if you did have a family member that was able to go ahead and buy his freedom or whatever? What about the millions that had quote unquote skills and couldn't buy their labor, couldn't buy their freedom, couldn't buy the freedom of their family members as well? I mean, what about all of the horrors and stuff? You see, they can in slavery, they pick and choose what they want to talk about. They sit up here. Shout out to Brooke and Nightfall on YouTube as well, too, guys. Shout out to you guys as well. They pick and choose about certain things. They'll gloss over, like, well, slavery was horrible. Slavery was bad. People were treated horrible. But then if it's any little thing that they can pick out that they say, well, this was maybe a positive that you could look back at, they will go ahead and they will highlight the hell out of that as well, too. All the other stuff, they don't want to talk about how black people, how you got all these variation of black people in this country because of what. They don't want to talk about how they expected black people to die after slavery, just be a group of people that just died off, wouldn't make it or whatever, would just eventually just fall off and just die, whatever. They don't want to speak about any of that kind of stuff right here. You got a black woman and you got a black man, highly educated people sitting up here championing this. They're worse than the Sanders.
And like I said, but to me, this is not about, like I said, we can always go back and we can tell our kids the truth, but this is them trying to get to their kids and trying to get to the next generation to continue, this racism and whatever, this white supremacy. This is them, because they have been saying that they do not like the fact that their kids are feeling bad. This is about their kids. This is not about ours.
Oh, and I agree 100% with you. The whole thing, that's why you keep hearing them talk about the woke. This is woke. This is woke. This is woke or whatever. It's making them uneasy. It's making them queasy on the stomach having to talk about this kind of stuff. So that's why, like you said, they're trying to go ahead and they're trying to get rid of it as much as, and we all know that. My issue, like I say, I know who Ron DeSantis is. We know who Ron DeSantis is. But when you have people in especially somebody in academia up here, like William B. Allen sitting up here, and they're sitting up here and they're co-signing this kind of stuff, and they're co-signing it for kids and stuff, 6th, 7th, 8th graders, middle school kids that actually learn this. To me that's the issue right there. That is just that's just irresponsible, man. You didn't even have to do this. But like you said, I wouldn't be surprised. No, we can't prove it. There's, I wouldn't be surprised what kind of backroom deals are being negotiated, what kind of handshakes and everything else, are, being straightened out or whatever. And two, let's also forget some black people, just like you said before, for just being able to be accepted, especially that the baby boomer generation. Let's be for real, the baby boomer generation, and quite a bit of the ones that was in the World War II generation as well too. I know that's considered the greatest generation of all time. And let's be honest, a lot of the actual Gen Xers as well too, especially the older Gen Xers. A lot of them just to be accepted is more than enough. So even if you don't actually have some kind of exchange of benefits, just to be told that you're okay and you fit in and and then we're gonna look out for you and stuff like that. For a lot of them, that's enough. That's really enough, to be honest. See my girl Rella up here. Rella, I know you had to run off for a second. Everybody on YouTube, guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe, click the notification, leave a comment on there as well too. What's up, Rella? Go ahead, and I know you kind of lost your train of thought.
Sorry.
No, that's cool.
I don't know why I'm saying I'm sorry, but pardon me, I should say. I had to stop and be mom. Okay. So Ron DeSantis is a piece of shit. I actually, while Queen B was speaking, and hello to Miss Queen B, I actually pulled up the video of Keisha King, who's a mom out in Florida. I don't know what her full background is, but it was a Facebook post, I guess Ron DeSantis is on, that he posted this video of her speaking at a board meeting, and he said it's sad that we are even contemplating something like critical race theory, where children will be separated by their skin color and deemed permanently oppressors or oppressed in 2021. He didn't even spell her name right. Quisha King, mother of two, are member of Moms for Liberty. So that's who she is. And I want to state this also for the record, and this goes back to even with the conversation around what's happening between biological women and trans women right now, is that you have people in spaces who are having discussions, and they have a point of view, a collective point of view, and they're utilizing their voice to make new nonsensical points that have nothing to do with the matter of a fact or whatever we're discussing. Ron DeSantis bringing up a black person, it seems like this is happening all over the country, because there's that black guy in California who went to the Temecula School Board. He's on Twitter now too, talking about how he's not for reparations, he's not for any type of reparative justice. Black people need to stop being victims and all this other stuff, right? Where do these people come from? How do they even get here? Because even if you are conservative, if you are downright ignoring historical records just so that you can call yourself a white conservative and a MAGA Republican, to me, I have a problem with you, because you're telling me that your message is to ignore the plight of black people because they always complaining, they always trying to make white people feel bad, and they don't really want to work hard like everybody else. That's the position that these white conservatives that are in office now take, right? And then when you listen to Ron DeSantis, because he's an attorney, he knows that words matter. He knows that the play on words matter, because as an attorney, you can only verify what's written on document and documented. So if I ignore race and I ignore history and how it's actually the narrative is written, I can ride this wave under the guise of critical race theory, the woke, and all this other stuff, and prove that these things are harmful to Americans. All I got to do is change the narrative. These are the type of people that we're dealing with. And then you have black people like Keisha King, Bob Woodson, William, Dr. Allen, and whomever else that are assisting these people in making this type of erasure possible, all because they have, because they're Black Americans. They're utilizing them as tokens to pretty much approve their type of psychological behavior. Because if you look at the game is in Ron DeSantis's interview, he was ignoring the reporter's question about him having a issue with Byron. What's that young dude that's always on TV? The young dude, Newstoter, the young black Republican dude.
Donald.
Yeah, Byron Donald.
Like that.
Yeah, him. So apparently him and Ron DeSantis bumped heads, and so the reporter was asking him about it. Ron DeSantis went straight to, well, if you're not gonna pick a side, and you're not gonna pick the side of Florida, and you're gonna pick the side of Kamala, however he was saying her name, Kamala, then don't pick the Kamala. You need to be on the side of Florida. You see the psychological warfare that's happening, and this is my problem with black Republicans who, like the dude down in North Carolina, sits around telling black Americans, America don't owe you reparations, you owe your ancestors reparations. These are the sickness and the seeds that literally are trying to be the face of us while denigrating and erasing us, just so that they can have access to a Ron DeSantis or Abbott or all these other white men that wouldn't care about them to begin with. Herman Cain died. Did nobody care about him after he died? Them white people didn't care about him once he passed away. They didn't give a about Herman Cain once he passed away and caught COVID at that convention. But all of a sudden, they'll use you to tokenize this erasure as long as you can ignore that black people are being harmed in the United States. You make sure your language is tailored to not even making words like domestic terrorism, erasure, genocide, and recognizing that history, first of all, is not written on the lens of slaves being beneficial based on the skills that they acquired. Because if they cared about the skills that our ancestors had, they wouldn't have did so much to bring in immigrants to replace the skilled labor, or even to demolish the industrial system when we were the capitalists. We were capitalizing on the Industrial Revolution, because where all the factories were, they were in black communities, and they don't want us to realize that. That's why Ron DeSantis and the Republicans who are like him are dangerous. Even conservative Democrats who are also dangerous. They will tell you to ignore what's in your face and make sure you get on the minority train and recognize immigration is not harming you and it doesn't affect you. These are the games that these people are playing with us. They are playing in our face, and we need to keep calling them out. Ron DeSantis, he should be shamed. Back to hell. Back to hell. Do you hear me? Under a rock. And I land.
All right. Thank you, Rella. Ron DeSantis can't be shamed because Ron DeSantis is trying to appeal to the the white supremacists in America. So that's his main thing. That's his playbook right there. That's his even if he doesn't win, and he knows he's not going to probably win and become president of the United States unless they can finally get Trump with something to stick. He's just trying to go ahead and placate to that certain demographic. So he's not really worried about all the other stuff. And I agree with you saying, brother. These black people in the Republican Party, like I said, this is one reason why you have a lot of black people that have an issue with voting Republican. I know we don't want to support the Democrats as well either. We know how bad it's like pick your poison. But some of these black folks here, it's just, the way they're just cooning him, man. And this is just seriously cooning at this dude. Like I said, this dude is almost 80 years old. My man Nightfall on YouTube talk about he looks like Uncle Ruckus, but and everybody up in the Jumbotron on the far right-hand side, please go ahead and retweet that tweet out. That's on the far right-hand side. It won't take you a minute. This is what we always talk about with black people and stuff like that. We always talk about doing stuff. We can't even get a simple retweet out of our people on here. The content is right up there in the Jumbotron on the far right-hand side, the very first thing up in the Jumbotron, asking sometimes our people just will like or retweet a certain content that you would think we're actually holding actual Twitter space on this actual article that came straight off the Newstoter.com platform, asking our people to go ahead and retweet something like it's like almost like pulling teeth. It's almost like pulling teeth. You can't even get our people to actually retweet. We talking about black empowerment. We talking about black this, black that. You can't even get a bunch of our people to even retweet a damn article out. Can't get them to like an article. Can't get them. I mean, we always talk about what black people need to do. We got all of these opinions and everything else, but we need to do this and that or whatever. We can't even get us to tweet a damn article out. This man, William B. Allen, we should be able to make his damn name. We should be able to make his name trend on Twitter. The fact that everybody's been talking about this whole thing going on in Florida with this slavery curriculum and everything else, yet this joker is one of the damn co-authors of it. One of the co-authors of this garbage right here that he's put out, and we can't even get a damn retweet in a space, in a Newstoter space, coming off of Newstoter.com. We can't even get our folks to go ahead. It's no reason. We got 30-some people in this space right now. For everybody that at least that's a Newstoter follower on here, it should be no issue for somebody going up in the Jumbotron, retweeting it out. We ain't saying go ahead and make a donation and this and that. We saying just simply go ahead and retweet it out. Simply go ahead and retweet it out. Retweet out the actual article. Maybe somebody else may see it and retweet it out. William B. Allen is a 78-year-old black man born in the state of Florida, sitting up here monkeying it up with Ron DeSantis. Sitting up here, got 6th, 7th, 8th graders about to be indoctrinated with this garbage, sitting up here talking about a goddamn skill that they learned in slavery time. A complete insult to all of black America. And we can't even get our folks to, I've said it a couple of times, go ahead and retweet it out. We can't even get our folks to go ahead and retweet it out. And we're sitting up here talking about reparations all the time. Come on, man. Really. The day you had Newt Gingrich come out and talk about, well, really the Union soldiers should also get reparations as well, too. This is the kind of nonsense we're talking about. Now, have any other soldiers in American history got reparations for going to war? So why should the Union soldiers get reparations? Why would?
Actually, didn't they get the when they came back? Didn't they get the? Hold on.
They shouldn't.
No, they didn't. That was the Union.
Did the Vietnam soldiers get reparations when they came home? What about the ones in Desert Storm or the one in Afghanistan and all the rest of them? In Korea, did they get?
So, let me tell you something. From a military standpoint, as a person that's been in the military, any of us that have served in the military, you sign your name on that dotted line. You go to the military or go to a recruit or whatever and talk to them about joining. You put your name on that dotted line. That's you. So therefore, you can't sit there and come home about where I want some kind of reparation when you want to put your name on the dotted line. So therefore, no soldier in history or no military personnel in history has ever gotten reparation.
Wait a minute.
Hold on real quick, because I got to respond. My girl, Brooke, nobody's trying to shame or put down by saying that for the folks up in the Twitter space to go ahead and retweet an actual link out that's in the Jumbotron. I don't think that's a put down. I don't think that's shaming. So I'm not trying to shame anybody, put anybody down. What I'm saying is that you say I don't want him to be famous but infamous. Yeah, well, if we go ahead and we in the article that he is the author of this damn slavery thing, I don't think he'll be famous because you already got half of the black people in the country that's pissed off anyway. So I don't think that's that'll make him famous. Yeah, he'll get notoriety, but not the kind you want. But I don't think that's shaming anybody or putting anybody down. That's not the point. The point is that, hey, we sit up here and we always talk about organizing and doing this and doing that. Well, it takes no effort to retweet something out, especially when it's right in front of you. Now, if you have to find the content, that's one thing. But if it's right in front of you, and which it is, like we got 30-some people in the space right now, that that's not a big thing, like I said. And I'm talking about the ones that are strictly Newstoter followers. I'm not telling anybody that may be in the space that don't follow news. So I'm saying if you follow Newstoter, if you come into spaces all the time, you come into spaces once a week or twice a week or whatever, let's go ahead and tweet it out, retweet it out. So like I say, that's all I'm saying. There's no shame and no put downs, anything like that to anybody in particular in there. But I'm saying if we're talking about forming stuff and building and this and that or whatever, it should be no issue whatsoever to go ahead and simply retweet out something that's right in front of us. I mean, I just don't see what the issue with that would be. Because like I say, this dude here, because maybe too, because I stay in Florida as well too. So you know, I got family members and stuff that's going to be impacted by this nonsense that they put in the law right here. The Department of Education sitting up here. My mother, God rest her dead, worked at the Department of Education for 10 years. So I've had cousins and everybody else that worked at the Department of Education. I've known people that worked at the Department of Education. So especially in Florida, Florida has a lot of people that work in the actual state government. So that's what I'm saying. That's the issue. What I'm saying, it's enough people that's going to be impacted that I personally know with this nonsense that they put into the damn into law here, which is complete nonsense, and it's meant to once again to destroy black people again. As always, and now you got a Negro, almost 80 years of age, sitting up here going along with a cosign in this garbage. Queen B, I know you had your hand up. Don, I'm gonna go ahead and get to you as well too. But Queen B, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Oh, no, I'm on.
You can let the next speaker go.
Y'all cooking today.
Go ahead, Don. She wants you to go ahead and speak. You can go ahead and speak.
Okay, but on real talk, y'all cooking. This is exactly what we need to hear. Because, I hear my people are talking. And you guys are talking and you guys are cooking. This is exactly what we need to do every day. This is it. I've never heard people cook, especially black people. I know that we black Americans and y'all cooking. Let me drop down. Let me drop down and listen to you. Because guess what? Y'all doing it. I am proud right now of my people. Because everything that I'm thinking, y'all thought. And this is exactly what we need to do.
All right, appreciate that, Don. Appreciate that. Let me go ahead and get to well, go ahead, Rella, and Queen Bee, whenever you want to speak. Let me give a shout out real quick to I Am Out as well too. I Am Out, thank you for your contribution on Cash App. Go ahead, Rella, you got it.
I can go after Queen Bee.
That's up to Queen Bee. Queen Bee, you want to go?
Go ahead, Rella. I'm gonna lay back for you. Go
Yes,
ahead.
ma'am. Okay. I understand your passion definitely for Florida, and it just makes me wonder, even when we talking about Black majority states, how we show up even for people in other states like Florida, who are still living there. You know what I'm saying? It's like we have so much work to do. We still have to try to protect the space that we're in until we can move into a space that is protecting or a protected space. So places like Florida, I'm wondering, when are the people there going to show up? Meaning that, like, what are the people on the ground doing in Florida to combat this? Even not just from the standpoint of the NAACP or, the caucuses or in that regard, but what are the actual people, the citizens who vote? Now that there's the impact, that has happened with the jobs and stuff, with building and commercial projects and things like that, what are the Black Americans in Florida getting ready to do? That's where the discussion has to happen. Action has to take place. And when I said it earlier that Ron DeSantis should be shamed under a rock, he should be, because there was a time that you couldn't be outright a bigot. You couldn't be an outright bigot after a certain time. Now, they still practice it, but you couldn't be outright. It was a taboo time. And we, I believe, have allowed these people to come out of their shell. That's why they went from sheets to suits. So now we need to have them go from suits to caskets, or they need to go from suits to suits back into invisibility. Because to me, there people always use an excuse. Well, I shouldn't have to feel ashamed for being white. Nobody ever said that. That's never ever come out of Black people's mouth. That's never ever come out of our mouth. Well, I think even the greats have even said, Black Americans want you to leave them alone. They want you to stop effing with them. Stop trying to be in their spaces and touch their hair and creating laws. This is my problem with people like Ron DeSantis. They believe they're standing in the space of humanity, and they're not. That's another reason why, more of a reason for us to get active and work on getting into a collective Black majority state where we can protect ourselves, because they're not even trying to protect us at all. We're not in authority. People in Florida, even with Florida's history when it came to slavery, there aren't Black people in authority. No one's running for the offices in authority. In Florida, enough for them to make a difference. Ron DeSantis shouldn't have never won. But what white Americans are going to challenge him and what he stands for, because it would go against their own self-interest. I mean, let's be honest. Let's be all the way real. If white people really was concerned about the humanity in this country of everybody, there would be no issue with people recognizing our history, our lineage, and even getting reparations passed. Instead, you got a white man in Texas putting bills up on the docket for people to vote on, so that they can block reparation commissions and any type of comparative legislation in other states on a federal level. Where have we ever done that? What Black person you know has ever said, we're going to block every bill and we're going to introduce bills to block people's ability to be protected in the country? Never. But somehow these other people are doing it, and they're doing it so well to the point where white people want to be in this space of being unscathed and untapped, untouched, and we keep allowing it. And it's time for us to reach out and touch people. It's time for us to actually get into the business of getting into action. That is our problem. That is where we fall short every time. Alan.
All right.
Who's cooking?
All right, Rella. Let me go back to Queen B. Queen B, you got to go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, I would just wanted to piggyback off what Rella was just talking about, and about this Congressperson Babin trying to get this bill. I guess he's introduced it. He's looking for people to sign off on it, but trying to get them to not support any states financially if they were to do the reparations. But, what's so sad about it is that Burgess Owens signed off on it. He was like one of the co-sponsors.
He went to school with my dad too.
Yeah, well, anyway.
Matter of fact, I used to work with his brother-in-law.
Yeah, and so you're right. I mean, some of these Black conservatives and Republicans, they are very dangerous. They are very dangerous. You got them, on the right side. Then you got the Boulets over on the left side. And between those two groups, they are responsible or trying to erase us. And they don't care. As long as they have whatever little piece of pie that they gonna get or whatever, as long as they get their pats on the head, whatever, then they just don't even care. So yeah, but that bill that they're trying to get passed, and it's interesting that how I haven't heard any Democrats or anybody talking about that bill online, not through Twitter or anything. So it's just really strange to me.
Thank you, Queen.
Anyway, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you was through, Queen B. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I am, but I didn't want to say. Yeah, I think Ron DeSantis like a second generation immigrant.
First generation. He's a first generation American.
Okay, yeah, because they're good for coming over here and just feeling like they can just walk all over us. So I'm not surprised at all by his position or his attitude.
Yeah, he pulled a Nikki Haley.
Yeah. yeah, they come over here and then automatically don't really know anything about our history or the connection with it, and they just think that they can just say whatever, do whatever against us, and that's it. So he is no different. Now, land.
All right.
No
No problem.
Let me jump in and say, Don, man, let me say this to you. You miss your calling, bro. You should be in a late night radio show like a love type show at midnight. You got that Barry White shit going. Yeah, show you right. This is the way I want to talk, nigga. And I love you, bro. On real talk, you know what I mean? I love my family, and my family be cooking. Y'all be cooking 100%. This is one where I listen to you guys, and when you guys cook, shit, I don't even know what to say. My sisters was cooking. I know my brother's gonna cook, and I'm just trying to wait for you guys to do this shit. You know what I mean? Y'all niggas be cooking. Nigga, this is nigga.
How many you had today, Don?
Okay, how many drinks have I had?
Okay, Don. We because we're gonna continue to cook. So let me go ahead and you go back listening how you was, and we're gonna go ahead and continue to cook because we don't want to slow it down. So appreciate that, Don. Let me give a shout out to much love to you too, bro. Let me give a shout out to Ms. Trigger. Ms. Trigger, thank you for your contribution on Cash App. Let me say, guys, up in the Jumbotron, as always, we have the Newstoter YouTube channel up there. If you have not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are slowly growing. Definitely go ahead and subscribe to that. If you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go ahead, like, share, and leave a comment. Click the notification bell as well. Also, for those that can support us on Cash App, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Newstoter is the largest Black-owned, Black American news media curation platform today in America. Once again, Newstoter is the largest Black-owned, Black American news media curation platform today in America. That's $Newstoter, $Newstoter. For those that do not have Cash App, we have the Venmo and PayPal up in the Jumbotron. Also on YouTube, we have the Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal up in the actual chat and up in the actual description as well too. For those that want to support us on Twitter by doing a subscription, it's $3 a month. You can go to the Newstoter profile page and click subscribe, and it's just a $3 a month way of supporting us here on Twitter. It'll be greatly appreciated. Also, DJ has up in the Jumbotron, we have the actual newsletter QR codes up in there, guys. We got the Newstoter and everybody else. We got social. We got all of the QR codes up in there. So definitely go ahead and check that out as well too. That's in the Jumbotron on the far left-hand side as well too. So definitely go ahead and check that out. We got the social, the Newstoter social up in there as well too. Go ahead and click that link and it'll take you. Go ahead and sign up for social. Let me go ahead and retweet that out right now as well too. So everything that you need is up in the Jumbotron to help support guys as well. So definitely go to social if you have not. It's a black-owned social media site that Black majority state owns. Definitely go ahead and check social out. We see all of the crap that goes on here, Twitter and everything else as well too. So let's go ahead and help social grow as well too, everybody. Let me go ahead and get to Professor. Professor, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Thank you, Newstoter. And like Rilla said, y'all, Ron DeSantis is very dangerous. This dude is doing all kinds of things to make sure that Black Americans are basically going to be at the bottom. He's trying to erase our history. He's trying to get us any kind of way he can. And when you think about what he's doing the job of what a lot of these conservative white Republicans and even beyond the Republicans, just the racists in general, who don't want to see Black Americans come up. And so when I think about people like him, I'm looking at the situation here in Alabama right now where we got a young Black mayor, 57 years old, and I'm calling him the mayor even though he has not been put into the position yet, or he has not been able to take office just yet. We got a young man here by the name of Patrick Braxton, 57 years old, that ran for mayor in 2020. And the town of New Bern here in Alabama, the white citizens who were in control of the mayor's position and on the town council are finding ways to block him from taking over, along with the black council members that have also been elected. So they all have been blocked out from taking their positions. So I want y'all to take a look at this story too, because this is the type of stuff that we're continuing to see all across the country, where Black Americans are being blocked just for trying to take positions in office after they have actually won the elections. They're being blocked or they're being removed or whatever the case may be. White people are trying to find ways to get us out of any position of authority. So pay attention to that, because you're seeing it all over the Southeastern states, Southeastern Conference. I'm going to call it the Southeastern Conference, because remember I said earlier, we know football is king down here, but so is racism. Okay? So, particularly a lot of the black women here in Alabama who have been in high positions have been removed out of high positions for nothing. There was no reason to remove them. They just moved them out. So I want y'all to pay attention to these stories, because this is where we are in this country. We are in a very dangerous time. Very dangerous time here, and DeSantis is leading the way because he wants to become president of the United States. So he's doing all he can to make sure that he can get into this position of the Oval Office, and he's playing to the so-called races of this country, because we do have a lot of them here. Sadly, a lot of white people are in the position of being racist, and they'll try to downplay it and say you're racist for calling them a racist. That's what you get these days. But calling out racism, you are a racist. This is what's so sad about the United States of America. We are trying to fight against a system of racism, and you are called a racist for trying to fight racism. Y'all, this is some bullshit. This is America. And see, they say America is the greatest nation in the world. I don't know if I can believe that. I don't know if I can believe that. Maybe on an economic side of it, you can maybe say that. But when it comes to anything else, America is on a downturn. And I'm telling you, America is going to fall. It's going to fall because the racists, the biggest in this country, are the reason why it's going to fall. I'm going to land right there.
All right. Thank you, Professor. Let me go ahead and get to Trouble. DJ, I hadn't heard much from you tonight, so when you get a chance, if you want to speak, definitely go ahead and get it. With Trouble, what's going on? How you doing tonight?
Hey, Newstoter, I'm doing pretty well, brother. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm doing good.
All right, that's good to hear. Hey, Professor, DJ, Rella.
What up?
Hey, everybody else. Hey,
You
now.
have to say the great one.
The
Why
great,
did y'all say the girl?
Not to be confused with CIS, FIS, boo.
I love you, man.
the great one up in here is Queen Black. Both blacks up in the cut. I am Ray, Nita, everybody up in here tonight. So shout out to the group. It's good to be in a space with everybody. I don't have a whole lot to add because, as the great one said, y'all up in here cooking. But I think what Professor was saying is hitting on a whole lot of truth. So I just wanted to just add a little something that I just seen, and you all have probably seen it as well. But they're hitting us on so many different sides. Like Professor just stated, you've got people being taken out of their positions. You've got the education, the degrading of the education over in Florida. We've also got this new thing in Texas now where they're taking the libraries out of the schools and they're implementing what they're calling team centers or discipline centers, where they're no longer going to have libraries where students who have behavioral issues will be sent to these team centers or discipline centers. And so what that actually consists of, who knows? So there are 28 schools in this particular district or whatever so far, and they have 57 other schools that they're saying they're going to use on a case by case basis. So it makes one wonder, why would you take books, libraries out of the schools just to implement some kind of discipline center? How come you can't have libraries and a discipline center? If you need a discipline center at all, who's going to be running this discipline center? Which students are the ones who are so-called have behavioral issues that will be required to go to this discipline center? How will you discipline these students at the discipline center? There's a lot of questions. But at the end of these questions, we already know who is going to be targeted. It's always our children. So we've got so many different fights. Florida wants us to lie about the atrocities of slavery and make it seem like Black people had it so great and so grand. And you hear that rhetoric with all of the immigrants who are now immigrating over into this country, repeating the same white supremacist lies about slavery and about a history that they have no knowledge of. And you want to continue to teach all of these new immigrant students who are now coming in this same lie, so that you'll have more people on your side to spit that white supremacist rhetoric at our children we're going to, like someone said, we're going to be teaching them the truth. But the white kids and all of these millions of immigrants coming in will not have that real truth and will use those lies against us. And so we're in a state of constantly having to battle and fight on a mental, spiritual, and fucking physical ass level, on all levels, because you refuse to tell the truth. Now you got over here in Texas where you want to start disciplining students, and you want to, hell, I remember when my mother, because there's a difference between discipline and punishment. When I was on punishment, I got that ass so out the brain, and I had to sit in a room with some books. But when I was disciplined, a lot of times until she realized I love reading, she would give me books to read, and then you need to write a book report. And then, or, back in my days, I ain't going to say which days there was, but we had encyclopedias. Now, we had the whole thing of the encyclopedias. I think we had KQC or something like that. But she opened up a random page in the encyclopedia, and you wrote a book report on whatever it was that she chose up out of there. That was discipline. So how are you going to take all of these lessons out of the school system? How are you going to take all of these books out and then replace it with discipline? So I've got questions on that. I think the most egregious thing is when they find these Black people that they can put a face and a name to say, as with what's going on in Florida, with you're now writing these stories. And so it looks like you're co-signing the lie, because the one thing a white person loves more than anything is to refer to that Black friend. Well, I've got a Black friend who says, doesn't say what you're saying. My Black friend informed me that Negroes loved being enslaved and you benefited from it. Hey, there's that Black guy who said it. He said it, yes, he did. And he's an expert in the subject because I deemed him one. We got to fight you Negroes too, because you get in a bag. Because you want to click your heels together and lick boots. Because it makes you feel good. Because you've got a few white friends in your life who probably did a little something for you to make you feel like that special Negro on the box, because you wasn't a threatening Negro. You was one of them smiling, hey, how you doing there? Hey, oh, that's a good white boy right there. That's good. Yeah, they love y'all. Meanwhile, the rest of us have to suffer because we have to continue to deal with the fallout of your foolishness. Our children will have to deal with the fallout of your foolishness, because white children are being taught how to lie and smile at the same time. They're being taught how to be evil and racist with a smile at the same time. And so, Lord, we got to get to our children. We got to stay on top of it. We've got to continue to watch everything going on in every state, because whether we know it or not, all of these different things tie in together. Even here in South Carolina, Professor, it's not just Black women who are losing their positions. They had a whole Black man as a superintendent, and they once they hired that brother in, he might have been on the job for 2 days, and they went and had a meeting and fired him and didn't even give a reason why. Why? Because they done came up with some new rules to say that they didn't have to have a reason why, and refused to tell the public why, refused to tell this man why. But really, it's because I'm white and I say so.
Whoa.
So we're all going to be losing positions, because now a lot of these states are fighting to get the DEI programs, diversity, equity, and inclusion programs out of their system. So that includes all of us. So it's just y'all be on the lookout. Like Professor said, be on the lookout. Let's take it all in. Let's keep up with the stories, and we got to stop having a short attention span, because these stories come up. We get and I get that way too, where I start to feel some ways, and I start to feel tired of having to deal with the same fights over and over, looking at the same clownery over and over, and it makes the spirit feel bad. But we can't be short-sighted. We can't have a short attention span and just look at this story today and let it roll tomorrow, just because the next story comes up, because there's always going to be a new story coming up. We've got to learn how to tie all of these in so that we can really see what it is that they're doing, because they're hitting us from the left and the right and the middle and the side. I mean, they humping hard, honey. They're humping hard. So we better hump twice as hard. That's all.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Trouble. And getting back to like you was talking about the Black ones, we got to watch out for that. I expect Ron DeSantis to do exactly what he's doing. I expect Governor Kemp, Governor Abbott, I expect Trump, I expect Mitch McConnell, I expect all of these white folks to do what they do. But the thing that hurts most is when you have Black people, especially, like I said, this is a Black man that's almost 80 years of age, that was born in the state of Florida. He knows exactly what people went through here. And to sit up here and now you're up here trying to alter and change history, that's the thing that we most have to look out for, because our people will, unfortunately, we got a group of Black people in here that no matter what, if the money's right or whatever, they're going to go ahead and they're going to side with the other side. So it doesn't matter whether they're Republican or Democrat. It doesn't matter if they're a baby boomer or Gen Z or millennial. Like, whatever, if the price is right, they're going to go ahead and they're going to side with the people that they feel, has the power and whatnot. So, and that's exactly what he's doing right here. He knows exactly that this is nonsense. And even, like I said, I was surprised that Byron Donalds actually even called DeSantis out on this. But you got DeSantis, you got Department of Education, and relative to what you were saying, you got people here that's doing everything, that they got things on the actual ground that they're trying to do. They're trying to go ahead and they're trying to go against this. They're organizing and everything else. It's going to be hard when you're in the Deep South as well, too. Florida is a completely red state. Florida has 67 counties, and out of the 67 counties, maybe 6 of them might be blue counties. So Florida has always been old Dixie here. I don't care about them having Miami and the beaches and Disney World and all this other nonsense. Florida is just as red as it wants to be, even with the carpetbaggers from New York that came down here and the island folk and everything else. Florida is just as red and redneck as any of these other states in the South. It might not be to the level of.
Hey, bro, let's just tell it like it is. Florida is controlled by the Northern Panhandle, which is the redneck part of the state. Yep.
But the whole state, Professor, with the exception of Miami, which at times turns back and forth depending on the presidential election, but Palm Beach and Broward, and you got Jacksonville, and you got Tallahassee, you got like 5-6 areas in the whole state. The whole Panhandle is red. Most of Central Florida is red. Your 2 biggest counties. 2 of your 3 biggest counties go blue, go Democrat, and Miami may go Democrat sometimes too. But Florida is a red state. Florida is red all the way. all the way, and the Congress in Florida and everything else. It's completely controlled by Republicans. So we have to be honest. Like I said, you got people, and they've been pissed, and they've been trying to go, and they've been trying to organize and everything else like that, and they can keep trying to organize as well too. But it's going to be an uphill battle as long as Ron DeSantis is governor. And we've had in the past 30 years, I bet we maybe had two Democratic governors. So it's been completely red from the time that I can remember. Go ahead, Rella. But like I say, I still, like I say, I know DeSantis. I know who DeSantis is and whatnot. It's this older Negro right here. And like they say, it's the old Negroes you got to watch out for. It's this old Negro right here, William Allen, that went ahead and really, really is helping to put a nail in the coffin of a lot of future generations with this nonsense. Because simply like Queen B said earlier, you got a bunch of white folks that they throw terms out there like woke and this, and they're all in wokeness and all this other stuff simply because they feel like their kids walk on air and they can't stand to hear what true history is. It ain't about no damn CRT. CRT, that's just a name. People just talking about American history. And now you want to go ahead and label, oh, this is CRT, this is critical race theory. No, it ain't no critical race theory. To sit up here and talk about slaves and this and that or whatever, and slavery in America is not critical race theory, just simply history that's being taught. So you got Ron DeSantis, you got the rest of them, you got all of the ones in the South and the Midwest and all these other places sitting up here talking about critical race theory, to the point that we even talk about critical race theory. Now we need to simply say, hey, we're talking about American history. American history is being taught. Simple as that. There's no critical race theory. We're just simply talking about American history. And that's what they don't want to talk about. They want to go ahead and took slaves and made them into damn helpers and all this other stuff and Rosa Parks. And they done just totally just switch history around completely. Just totally done switch. Every time you're talking about even the civil rights movement and stuff, now they done totally just revamp the entire story, actual factual stories, and now they making it fiction. Making it fiction and crap, just fairy tales all the way around here. And like I said, you got this old Negro, almost 80 years of age, born in a damn state. And I know people say, well, is he he's a goddamn black American. He's a black American. There are plenty of coons in the black American family structure here, y'all. We got our share of coons right here too. Normally we are one that actually call them out. But yes, this guy here is up here cooning big time. And I heard Queen B talk about Burgess, what's his name? Like I said, I used to work with his brother and went to school with my dad. Like, definitely Burgess Owens. Like, yeah, Burgess Owens, because I know his brother-in-law personally, and brother-in-law always talk about when Burgess come down there for the family reunions, like they have to almost quiet him down because that's all he's talking about, this and that or whatever. So it is what it is. Like I say, these actual Republicans, that's black Republicans. I mean, they go overboard caping for this stuff right here. I mean, they just go overboard. They just pound the concrete way too hard. Go ahead, Rella, you got it.
Yeah, I think we just need to know like who those people are on the ground. I think that's the point, is to make sure that we to make sure that we find out who the organizations are that people can connect with. Maybe that's the other piece of it again, so that way we can figure out how to combat this. It's not enough to just say, okay, well, the coons are the ones that are the worst. It's all bad. It's definitely all bad, and it's definitely a point to where when you got people that can break up our community and pull people sway people from different way, from one ideology to another, to the point where they become disloyal even to themselves. That's a problem. So I think trying to figure out a way to help combat people, but at the same time, let's be honest, where do we want to see ourselves in the next 5-10 years? And we need to get into some protection because they are really trying to, off our heads. in every way possible. And we got to be willing to, draw some line of, defense and make a stand. Otherwise, we're going to be in trouble. I think I heard somebody was saying that, we really don't have any power enough to change the trajectory, but I think we do. The reason why the bus boycotts was so, they made such a huge economic dent is because they were strategically stopping the flow of money in one of the biggest industries, and that is transportation. So, people think we don't have power, but we got more power than we think. And I don't always agree with the approach that the older elder, who did you boycott? But we got more power than we think. And if we can shut down industries, and again, that requires us to buckle down and recreate a new, reinvigorate the industrial system in a different way that circulates our money, but allows us to control who we're going to trade with. That's going to be the game changer for us. So whether it's coons and people who commit domestic terrorism, people who practice racism, bigotry, white supremacy, and the like, they won't matter. We got to get our economic game up, but we also got to get our economic system up, and that's our biggest thing. We should be able to get into positions to write policy that protects ourselves, meaning that we should be writing, having people write bills against these people who are in office, because you've never seen it done. Why none of the Democrats who are in office ever wrote a bill against Republican-led states to block them from doing the degeneracy that they do? But every time you turn around, a Republican is writing some degenerate legislation, and they always say, "Well, we don't have to talk about race." That's their key. Their key is to stay away from race because they realize that race-based policies are not backed by the Supreme Court. So if they got the authority, they got the people in the language, and they have the representation, all they got to do is write the bills. Well, we have to do the same thing. That's what I'm saying. People got to get into positions of authority. You're going to have to run for a chief of police. You're going to have to become officers. You're going to have to become a senator, a governor, Congress people. Somebody needs to run for president, vice president. Like, these are serious things that we got to get on the ball for. And we don't have time to waste. And I land.
All right. Thank you, Rella. I see that Negro up in here as well, too. That Negro, what's going on with you, brother? How you doing tonight? Shout out to 1865 and a bunch of you other guys up in the space as well, too. DJ, I know you've been pretty quiet tonight. Is something you want to add? I don't know. DJ may not be in the space. So DJ May, I know he looks like he's in the space, but maybe he's not up in the space, and he might be doing something. So
I am here, but I am doing something. What's good, everybody? No, I'm just listening to y'all. Man, go ahead and speak.
No, we're not gonna keep it open too much longer. Let anybody that wants to come up here and speak. I try not to let the spaces go any longer than they have to go. If everybody gets they say in and they speak or whatever, that's cool or whatever. We're not gonna push the issue more than what it is. I feel like, hey, an hour and a half, 2 hours, or whatever it is, more than enough time to actually get our point across. So, anybody wants to speak, come on up here and speak now. If not, we're gonna get ready to close the space down for the night. So, definitely, anybody that wants to get it in one last time or whatever, wants to say something, we try to keep the spaces going so our people can come up here and speak and conversate. But if there's nothing left to say, then I guess we'll just go ahead and shut it down for the night, guys. So once again, thank you to the co-hosts, the speakers, the listeners, everybody that came out to the space tonight. Thank you to everybody that contributed on Cash App. Appreciate you guys as well. We'll be back probably Monday. I know next week we'll only be doing a couple Twitter spaces because I'm going to be going out of town on vacation. So probably do a space Monday and Tuesday, but Wednesday and Thursday we would not be holding any spaces. So see you guys. We'll be back Monday night, more than likely. I don't know if I'll do one Sunday, but more than likely Monday night, guys. So thank you as always for supporting the news on the Twitter space. Once again, everybody be safe. Have a good night, and we'll see you guys either Sunday or Monday. More than likely Monday though. So peace, everybody. Y'all have a good one.